really see them next to each other. So then moving on, I would say besides colors, the other thing you really need to choose is a font. I think that, especially if you're not super into design yourself, like you don't consider yourself a designer, that's totally fine. I think Google Fonts is a great place for someone who doesn't want to make a lot of complicated decisions. I suggest Google Fonts because they are totally free and they are open source, open license. You can use them anywhere you would like without having to pay. I used to work at an art museum, and you would not believe how much we spent buying fonts and how many rules there are. There are beautiful fonts in the world that are paid, but if you are kind of trying to DIY and or save money, I really suggest that you use a free font and not stress out about buying licenses for paid fonts, because there's just plenty of good ones that are free and that are easy. The other good thing about Google Fonts is that all of these generally come loaded in the other programs you'll use. So like these should all be in Canva, they're in Squarespace, those kinds of things. So that definitely makes your life a lot easier if the other programs you're using have the same fonts available and already loaded in. Again, with kind of, if you look at this and you feel lost and you're like, I have no idea, these all look almost the same, what am I doing? I would say that a good place to start is on Pinterest, and you can Google some logos. Like you could even just Google logos and see some options, but you could also go to Pinterest and look at the type of fonts that some of your clients' favorite stores use and get that as inspiration. So if you look at like advertisements for Anthropologie, if you're going back to the boho bride example, what kind of fonts does Anthropologie use? Like, are they really dark and bold like this? Or are they serifed? Are they sans-serifs? If you don't really know what that means, don't worry about it. But there's just lots of different types, and that can help you narrow in. If you look at, see, this is an example. This is a serif. It has the little like lines on the ends of the letters. This is a sans-serif. There's no little lines like at the top. I would say that the sans-serif generally have a little bit of a sleeker look. A lot of times people will pair a sans-serif with a serifed, and that can be a good look. If you need help pairing fonts and you just really don't know where to start, and even looking at like advertisements or other brands and you're still like, I have no idea, that's totally fine. Try a place called Font Pair. And that is cool because it just gives you pairs that go well together. So this tells you that your heading font would be Laura and your body font would be Meriwether. And if you think it looks good here, then you're off and running. You don't have to stress about it. So they give you a lot of different options and they tell you exactly the name. So then you can go find it in Google Fonts and or like in Canva or whatever. So that's nice, super user-friendly. And these are your options, like a sans serif with a serif. So that tells you kind of what you're getting. And then obviously up here, all the different ones. Display fonts are generally more like a titling type font. They're a little bolder typically. But this is a good way to just find something that you like and go with it. If you do want to go a little bit more into finding a pairing that you like, because you're going to need, I would recommend at least 2 or 3 fonts as your branded fonts. You can also try FontJoy. So say you're on Google Fonts here and you really like one font, but you don't know what to put with it. FontJoy.com is a great option because you can put in different fonts and then lock it, and it'll find you other fonts that go well with it. You can also just pick this random generate tool at the top, and it will give you options. So like, and they vary a lot. See, I don't personally care for this Passero 1 font because I think it'd be hard to read in a lot of different contexts, but you can just keep clicking and maybe you like the next one better, or you keep clicking. And then you, like I said, can lock and then generate, and then the top one won't change, but the bottom two did. And you can work your way down. And if you don't want 3, that's totally fine. You can use just the titling font and the body font. So I know we covered a lot of ground super quickly, but I didn't want this to be too much of a deep dive, just kind of a quick overview that helps get you started if you open the templates and you're just not sure how to customize them. This will get you rolling. Remember Pinterest, where you can grab inspiration, create mood boards, find coloring ideas that you feel like work well together. Go to coolers.co to pick out your actual brand colors and find your exact color codes. And then again, when you export it, it'll give you all the different ones, like the hex codes and everything for each color. And then Google Fonts is a great resource for figuring out what you want your branded fonts to be. Go to Font Pair if you want a combination that's already done for you, or play around with FontJoy to get a little bit more creative and dive a little deeper. I will also say, if you're like totally not loving the font thing, because I know it can be a little bit detailed, you can also just Google like feminine brand font combination or something like that, professional brand font combination, or free boho font or something like that, and then you'll see there's tons of design blogs and different things that'll have suggested pairings, like lists of try this font with this font. A lot of wedding design blogs have that kind of thing. So that's another source of inspiration if you want to get that into it. And, you know, obviously you don't have to, but I just wanted to mention that if it does appeal, just Googling for font pairings can be good. The main thing to check though, if you do that, is that they're free fonts that are readily available, because I don't recommend buying a font unless you really, really love it and you know that it's going to be worth it to you, because they can get pretty expensive when you're buying licenses for both web and print and all the different places that you're going to want to use your font. So I definitely recommend you stick with the free ones and save money on that. I hope that was helpful, and I am always here. If you have any questions, just reach out. Thanks.